All right. Yeah. So, hey everyone, this is me, Harshal Jain, aka Viraj, and today we are going to build a very great project using JavaScript. So some of you might be having issues in JavaScript to get real-time changes. So this project will clear all your important basics which are required for real-time changes in JavaScript. Suppose I entered a name, suppose my name is Harshal Jain. Okay, if I entered Harshal Jain, you can see that I got Harshal Jain here. So how is this happening? This is the real-time change in JavaScript, and this is a very important concept if you want to build websites with real-time changes. Okay, so you can definitely use this project for reference for different projects if you are simply using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But in other technologies which use JavaScript like React.js, they have inbuilt hooks which help this one. Okay, but if you are a plain HTML, CSS, JavaScript guy, then definitely this project will be really helpful for getting real-time changes. Okay, so let me just give a demo about this tip calculator, and I tried to make it as complex as possible. But if you search on Google, you'll get a really simple tip calculator, and I guess that won't be worth of making this project. That's why I made it a little bit complex. Okay, so if I just entered my name Harshal Jain, and if I add number of people, suppose I entered number of people are 10. So you can see that now in the bill I got 10. And here if I choose any percentage, right now you can see the 10 was written because last time I added 10. But if I select any percentage, suppose I selected 5. So you can see that I got 5 here. But I don't want 5. I want a custom percentage. So you can also do that. If you add 7 and hit enter, then you can see that we got the 7 percentage here. All right. So this is the logic. And after that, you can see that my one item was already added because I was playing with this one right now. But if I add another item, suppose if I add shoes, okay, if I add shoes and quantity, suppose I want two pairs, and pair of each price is, suppose, no, they will be very cheap. I'll just choose 500 each. Okay, so 500 each, that means 1000 rupees of shoes. So if I add, you can see that 500 each, and we got the total of 1012 because rupees 12 was previously added by me. So you can see the total is 1012 by adding the logic, and this is the total for bill amount. And once you add the percentage of tip to it, the total will be 1082. Okay, you can check that on your calculator. So this will be the logic, and this is everything is real time. You can see that everything is real time, and I will show you how can you do this. All right, so I hope you will enjoy this video. And before moving forward, I wanted to apologize that the stream started late today because, as you can see, I'm having troubles in speaking because of this bad weather. But it's okay, we can continue. And before starting, I'll show you one more thing. In the description, you can find the link of our free full stack bootcamp course. So just visit that link. So this is the page of the free full stack bootcamp course, and just visit this one, just start this one. Inside this you can see that we got the theory material here. You can check out the theory material for full stack career. And in the live section you can see that on 21st and 22nd January we have scheduled Zoom meetings. Basically they will be live on Zoom, and you can join this meeting. The links will be shared here. So this will be a JavaScript based project, and this will be a really awesome project, like building a weather app using JavaScript and weather API. So you will use a real-time API, weather API with JavaScript. So it will be really helpful for bigger projects. Okay, so just watch this one, and the links will be shared on 21st and 22nd, I guess. So you can watch them. And if somehow you can't watch these sessions, you can check out the recordings also. The recordings will also be available here, but watching live is suggested because you can ask your doubts directly. All right. So this was some few things which I wanted to tell you before. And one more thing which I guess I should tell right now, that if you want the source code, any of my source code is available on my GitHub. Okay, so just visit my GitHub. The GitHub profile is viraj014. You can simply search github.com/viraj014. So I'll just share this one in the live chat, and we got a message in the live chat. All right, so the top 10 is saying that it's gone late today. Yeah, it's actually late today, but my apologies. You can see that. Can't help it, but we'll complete this stream on time. All right, so yeah, here in my profile you can see that this is my profile, so just do follow me here. I am about to complete 100 followers, and follow me here. Okay, so in the repositories I'll just upload the source code later on. Right now it's not uploaded, but you can see all my previous projects are being uploaded here. So you'll find this tip calculator here. All right, so this simple project will be uploaded here, and I'll just share this link for the repository in the end of this video when I'll upload the source code. Okay, so this was much for the talking part, and then we are going to jump to our code. Okay, so I'll just split my screen, and by the way, today I upgraded to Windows 11. Okay, you can see that I had to upload because Windows was forcing me. So, anyways, it's nice. I don't regret upgrading. So you can upgrade. Okay. So just create a new folder here first. So I'll just create a new folder here, and I'll just name it as JS_TIP. Okay. Tip CLCULATUR. Okay. I guess the spelling is right. Calculator. Okay. Now it's right. All right, so I'll just open it with VS Code. So in more options, yeah, it's sometimes annoying that we don't get VS Code directly in Windows 11, but we can't help it. All right, so here, just a minute, guys. All right, so yeah, I guess now my voice must be audible. Let me check it first. All right, so now I guess we can continue. We can create a new file here named as index.html, index.html, and I hope the UI is looking fine, but you can definitely change the UI of the project. And I'll just show you first how the UI part is done, then we'll jump to JavaScript in today's video only. This is a one video based project. Okay, I won't take 2 days for building this one. So this is the basic HTML boilerplate, and let me just zoom this one. Yeah, I guess. Okay, where is my VS Code? Yeah. All right. So let's test this first that it's working no or not. Okay, and I'll just open it with live server. So don't forget to install live server extension. So if you don't have live server extension, you can install it via extensions, and you can simply search live server. Okay, so this is the live server extension. You have to install this one, and then you will get this option. Okay, so just click open with live server, and it will open a new page here. You can see that we got the text which we have written for testing. All right, so now I guess we can continue. And for a few minutes, I might not see the live chat, so just mention your doubts there, and I'll see that later on. Okay, so now let's first create a basic template which will be required. So I'll just also do give me a confirmation that is the code visible. I have increased the font size, so I hope it's visible now. So let's begin with the heading. So I'll just give it a heading of tip calculator. I'll just give it a heading of H1, and I'll write TIPCALCULATUR. Okay, tip calculator. And then after this, we can simply target our uh, body. So in body, we basically want two things. I'll just create a container. Inside that container, we'll have two things. One will be the form, one will be the final build. Okay, so in left side we want the form, right side we want the build. I'm not talking about responsiveness right now. I'm just creating the simple UI. Okay, so simply create this container tip cont. Okay, tip container, and inside this we want two things. That is, first is the form. So you could have also used the form tag here, but I have simply written class form. Okay, so this is my class form, and another one is the bill. Okay, so another one is the bill. You can name it as bill. I guess, yeah, I have also named it as bill. Okay, ठीक है. And now we can continue. You can see that we have two containers. First will actually take values from us, and second one will show values. All right, like the previous one which I showed. So now let's first style the body, and I'll just complete the basic part first. So in the style, just create the style tag here, and you can simply shift your CSS to any other page, but right now I'm just writing here only. So first of all, I recommend this to everyone. Simply make margin as zero pixel, and padding as 0 pixel. Okay, that's it. Now we can continue. Now in the body, you can simply say that I want some background color. So I have chosen some background color, and you can choose any other background color. So this is my chosen background color, and I'll just choose a background font family of Sergio UI. So Sergio UI font family. Okay, this will be our font family, and then we can simply choose a font size of suppose 1.2 rem. Okay, so this will change on display, and then we can simply write color as somewhat gray hashtag 333. Okay, and then we can write display flex because I want my heading, and then we want the second container, so we actually want things in center and also in columns. So first I'll write display flex direction as column, and then I also want my things to be in center, but right now I'm just creating this. And so let's bring things in center. So for that we can simply write justify content center. Okay, and then we can write align item center. So it brought my tip calculator to center, but I want that to be in center of this page. So for that we can simply write height is 100 vh. Okay, so this is the simple body which we created. Now in the body we want the h1 tag to have some margin from top and bottom. So we simply gave it some margin. Okay, right now it's not visible because we haven't created another one. So now let's first write something in the tip container. Okay, so first we'll create the form, and then we'll create the bill. Okay, so in the form, we can simply give it a label as customer name first. Okay, we want customer name, number of people, tip percentage, and items. Okay, we can add as much any items as we want. Okay, so in here we can simply write first a label as customer name. So I'll simply write label as CUSTOMAR name. Okay, customer name. So this is my first level. You can see that we have some margin in between because the h1 tag. Okay, so if I just remove this one, you can see that the margin is gone. That's why. Okay, so we gave a margin from top and bottom to the tip calculator. After this, we can simply in the label we have given a label. We can simply give a input. In the input, I am going to write its type as text, and then we can give a placeholder of enter customer name. So I can simply write enter customer name. Okay, so this will be our container for input, and then we can give it an ID also. So I'll just give it an ID as this must be a unique ID. So I'll just give it an ID customer CUSTOMER, and I'll give it customer NAMEINPUT. Okay, so this will be my basic. Okay, guys, just a minute. All right. So this will be our basic label and input, and just give a unique name to this ID because that's how we can give real-time changes. Okay, so giving ID to each input is important, or you could have given a form also. There are many different types, but I prefer this one. Okay, that's easy. So in the input, we have given customer name. Again, we want the same to be number of people. Okay, so we are again to give going to give a label as number of people, and we can also give an input. and input can be type equals number, okay, because people will always be in number. And then we can give it a placeholder of enter number of people, enter number of people, okay. And you can also give it an id of id equals, I'll give it an id of people input, okay, peopleinput. So just give it an id and close this one. All right, so now you can see that we are actually having these two in a row. So for bringing them in a column, I'll just simply target my form first, okay. So I'll simply target my form and I'll simply give it a, okay, we'll simply give it a transparent background, okay, somewhat glassy background. So we can simply target our form class name, and we can give it a first background color can be uh, p black, okay. Then we can give it a somewhat glassy background, so we can give it this one, okay, around 0.4. That will be okay. All right, and then we want things to be in column. So for that, first write display flex direction column. That's it. After this, I want things to be always in center, so justify content center, line item center. All right, and then you can give it a padding of 20 or 15, anything you like. Then we can give it a border radius of suppose 10 pixel, or we can increase it to 20 pixel. Okay, now it's fine. Then we can give it a color of white. All right, so now it's looking fine. And after this, we are going to target the input and label. So first we will target the label. So I'll write form label, okay, and I'll just want them to be in left side, so I'll simply write flex start. All right, so they'll always be in left side. And then we can give it a margin of I want the margin, okay. Right now we shouldn't give it any margin, so I'll just leave this place empty. But let's first target the input. So I want all of my inputs to be having same CSS. So I would always want 95% of width of the container. Okay, whatever container has this input. And then we can simply give it a padding of 10 pixel. All right. And then if I gave 100%, you can see that it took more place. Okay. So I simply give 95% because that was looking fine. And after this padding 10 pixel and border radius can be 10 pixel, I can increase it to 15. Okay, that's our input. And then I'll simply give it a border as none, okay, no border. Then outline can also be done. I'll just give it a margin of 10 pixel from top and bottom, and outline can also be none, no any. All right. And then what's outline? Outline is nothing. If you select this one, you will get an outline. So I've just removed that outline. Okay. If I haven't removed that, if I click on this one, you got an outline. Okay. That's what outline does. So I have removed the outline. It's not important right now. And then we can give it a line item center. Okay. I mean align self-center. So it what will actually do? It will always keep the input in center of whatever the parent container is. Okay. So I'll just simply give this one align self-center. So that's it for the input. And I'm just giving a margin from left to this label. So it will shift it from left to 10 pixel. Okay, that's it. That's it. And we can also give it a font size. I want the font size to be 16 pixel. Okay, so I'll just write 16 pixel. All right, so that's it for the label and that's it for the input. Now we can again write the HTML part again. So we have written customer name, number of people. All right, so I guess this was much required for the first part. Then we want the tip percentage. Okay, so for tip percentage, I'm going to create another container. So I'll just simply write a div. Inside this, I'll just first give it a class of tip percent okay, it's outer container. Inside this we can give it a heading of select tip percentage. Okay, so this will be our heading, and inside this we'll actually give a few options. That is pre-written options like 1%, 5%, 10%, and 15%. Also, we can give it a container which we user can actually give a custom tip percentage. Okay, I'll just show you how. But yeah, we gave it a heading, and then we can create another div which will actually contain my custom values. Custom values, no, I mean pre-written values. So pre-written values, I have chosen some random values, that is 1%, 5%, 10%, and 50%. So I want them to be shown here. And after this, we are going to show an input container here, which will be of type number, type equals number. Okay, and yeah, type will be of number, and placeholder will be I'll just give it a placeholder will be custom. Let's first give it an idea of custom tip input, and similarly we'll just give it a placeholder of custom tip percentage. Okay, or you could have also written enter custom tip percentage and so on. Okay, so yeah, now it's fine. And now we are going to we are going to write things inside this one. So I'll just give it an ID of TIP Okay, so this will be our class tip percentage out, tip percentage in, and inside this we are going to create 4 p tags which will contain each. So simply just write here 1%, and 5%, 10%, 15%. Okay, so these will be the presets pre-written, and user could can select from these, or if he wants something like 7%, so he can simply type 7% here. So I've given both options for convenience. And now after this, we are going to create a division for our add item. Okay, so adding item is for adding item, I'll just create a division here, division, and let's give it a class of add item. Okay, this will be a class, and then in the p tags we can simply add item. Okay, add item, then we'll give it a row first. First row will contain what? First row will contain what? Item name and item quantity. So I'll just simply write input type equals text, and then we can simply write what? We can simply write one more thing. Here we can simply give input name. Okay, so I can write first, let me just give it a text, and then we can give it a placeholder as item name. Okay, so after this, let's check. Yeah, now it's fine. And then we can see that we have item name, and then we want one more thing, that is uh, item quantity. Okay, item quantity. So here I can return, I can write item quantity. Okay, so item quantity, and also we can create another input which will contain item what item price. Okay, so the price will be written here, item price. All right, so I hope this much is clear. Also, now we'll style this one, but yeah, we have to create a button here also. So I'll just write a button, and I'll write add. Okay, so this will be our add button. So let's again jump to the CSS part. And now after the input, I have given for label. Okay, form label is also given here, and then we can simply target the tip percentage out. Okay, so what I can do is tip percent. Okay, tip percent out. So tip percentage out, And inside this I would want the width to be again 95%. 95%. Okay, it took the whole width. And then I can give it a background color of black. And one more thing, we want everything to be in flex, so display flex, and flex direction will be column, so everything will be in column. And then we can simply write justify content center like item center. Okay, so it will bring everything in center. After this we can give it a padding of 10 pixel. All right, 10 pixel, and then we can give it a border radius of 15 pixel. So that's it. And then we can jump inside this one. So I guess I have given a class to this one or not. I'll just give it a class. I can simply write class equals HEAD. Okay. Okay, not for this one, not for this one. It's okay. Actually, inside this tip percentage out, we have multiple p tags you can see. So here I can simply write this. Alright, so I have given a head class, or you could have simply given another tag like h2. That would work also. So this head class will simply have a font size of 20 pixel, or you can change anything. Then we will jump to tip percentage in, and I want these all of them to be in a row. You can see right now they are in a column, so I can simply write tip percent in. Okay, so just target this one, and then I can simply write display as flex. So you can see now they are in a row, and by default flex direction is row. And we can simply write one more thing: if someone goes out, then simply write flex wrap. Okay, so I can simply write justify content space around. Okay, so it will take space evenly, and then I can give it a width 100%. And you can see now they're equally spaced. And we can also give them a padding from top, and from left side let it be 0. All right, so this was much for it. And then we can target the p tag inside this one. So I'll just copy this, and inside this we have our p, which will contain all of them. Okay, so I'm just giving it a random width of suppose 30%. 30%, and I'm just giving a width of 30%. You can see that 15 got 15% are is in next slide. That's because the p tag took 30%. So for I'll just first give it a background color of this gray. Okay, and then we'll give it a padding of 10 pixel, and a margin of suppose 5 pixel from top and bottom. Okay, so this was much. And then border radius of 20 pixel. And for showing four values, you can simply decrease this to 22, and it will be in 4 lines, or you could have also decreased it to 20, and I guess that will work, not 20. And let's check what's happening here. Acha, 20, can give it 15. Okay, now they are in a line. So yeah, you can manipulate this one if you want them to be in a line. After this, I can give them color of suppose gray, hashtag 333, and I want them to be in center, text align center. Okay, so these are our p tags, and if on hover, I want my background to be some white color. Okay, so if I hover, you can see my background color is white, and you can also change the cursor to pointer, CUR pointer. All right, so yeah, this is for select tip percentage, and user will select any tip from here, or you can add any tip percentage, custom tip percentage here. Okay, so this was our container for tip percentage. Now we can jump to the add item. So in add item, we can simply write dot add item, and in brackets we can give it a border of, let's check first, border of 2 pixel. And I want my border to be dashed DASHED, white color border. Okay, so you can see that we got a white color border. You can change the border if you want. And then what can we do? We can give it a width of 95% again. All right, then we can give it a padding of 10 pixel from inside. We can also give it a border radius of 15 pixel. Yes, we can give it a display of flex, and flex direction will be column. Then I want everything to be center, so that's why I have given flex direction as column. Okay, so you can see that now it's ready, and let's add a few more things. That is a margin. So margin from top and bottom 10 pixel. All right. So in a row, I actually want them to be in a row, and I'll just give it a class. Okay, so I'll just give it a class of add item row. I want these two input fields to be in a row. Okay, so I'll just copy this one and I'll just target it here. Display as flex. Now you can see that both of them are in a row. And we can also do one more thing. Justify content space between. All right. Right now you can see that we aren't getting any space. Let's give it a width of 100%, not working. So what I can do is I can actually create an empty container here. So I'll just give it a class of empty, okay, empty, and let's give it some width. So I'll write empty, okay, and I'll give it a width of suppose I'll just give it a width of 10%. So you can see that now we got a space in between. Okay, so that's some small tricks which you must use. Okay, these are really helpful, and I didn't need to redesign the input, so that was helpful. After this, we can style the button. So our button is simply dot add item button, and beside this we can simply give it a width of 100% first, 100%, padding of 10 pixel, and border obviously let's give it 15 pixel. Okay, and border can be none, outline can be none. Okay, just a minute. Border can be none, outline can be none. Let's save. Okay, and then we can give it a margin of 10 pixel from top and bottom. Yes, and then I guess I want my button to be always in center. That's why I like self center. Okay, and then we can give it a background color of black. Text color can be white. I want this text color to be white. Background color, I want this background color to be black. Now our button is ready, and then we can give it a cursor to pointer. So cursor to pointer. All right, so if I hover over it, you can see that we got a pointer, and I want hover effects. So if someone hovers over it, I want my background color to be white and text color to be black. Okay, so now if I hover over it, you can see the text color changes and background color also changes. Yeah, that's it for this container. Now I want my bill container. So let me just close this one. Now I want to style my bill container. So for that, I can simply create a few divisions. Okay, I'll just give it a class of suppose s1. Okay, s1, and side s1 I'm going to give two values. First is the label customer name, and then we can get the whatever values written. Okay, so right now you can see that it's actually in the bottom. Okay, it's actually in the bottom. Why is it happening? It's happening because we haven't actually targeted this container, tip container. Okay, so let's target the tip container, and I want my tip container to be display flex tip container, and I want my tip container to be in display flex. So you can just style that in some top position so that you can read it very easily. Display flex. Okay, so now you can see that it's in display flex, and we can do one more thing. We can write flex direction as flex directions by default row. I want them to be in center. Okay, justify content center, align item center. So you can see that now they are in center. All right, so now we can style this one, and I can also write flex wrap as wrap. So if somehow this container goes out of this page, like let's check, you can see that customer name is now in this position. Okay, so that's because of flex wrap. So you can see that it's working fine. So after this, After this, we are going to style the first. Let's add properties here. So first property is customer name. Second property is similarly number of people. So just make sure you have given these IDs people well, name well. Okay, I guess we have also given some IDs. Let's check later on. Let's check for this one later on. But let's style the complete first. Okay, complete bill first. So customer name, number of people, and then we can add items also. So I'll just create a division and let me just give it a class as S2. Okay, inside this we will have an heading which will be giving us all items, and now we can simply write a division which will contain all our items. Okay, so ID equals all items. I'll just give it an ID of all items. Now inside this I'll just copy this part. I'll just copy this part and paste it here. Now I'll just give it a label of, instead of giving it a label, I'll just simply write p tag here. And we want three. Suppose I have chosen three paneer. Okay, three PA paneer, or we can simply write something else. Okay, let's not choose food this time. We can simply choose some thing like three shoes. Okay, three shoes, pair of shoes, three pair of shoes, and we can give it suppose price of 1,000 rupees. So you can see that we got the item. Similarly, let's add another item for more clarity. Okay, so right now I've just added two items for just checking for the CSS part, and then we can jump to, let's close this and we can jump to another part, that is our bill amount. So again, do the same bill amount, and I just gonna given an ID of bill AMT rupees 0. Okay, same for the tip value, that is the percentage which the user has chosen, tip percentage. Okay, I have given an ID of tip 12, and then I can do the same for total amount. So this will be bill amount and it will be added with this percentage, then we will get the total amount. Okay, so you can see that everything is represented right here. Okay, now we are going to style this first. So for styling, just come back to the CSS part. Yeah, here. And now we are going to style the bill. Okay, so I want my bill to be background color white and width of 500. So you can see that since I chose 500, it is here. All right, so margin can also be 10 pixel from top and bottom, or 20 pixel, so that we get, yeah, some space. And now after this you can actually give it a border radius, but I want this to be a simple bill, so I'm not giving it a border radius. Okay, but for giving it a border radius, you can simply write border radius of suppose 20 pixel. You can see that we got a border radius, so that's up to you. So right now I've just removed that one, and then after this I will create my S1. So I'll write dot S1. I want my S1 to be in a row. Okay, that means customer name Harshal Jain, number of people 10. Okay, that means I want my S1 to be in a row. So display flex. All right, so have I written the names here? Okay, let's first write temporary names here. So if I write my name Harshal, number of people can be 10. Okay, so now you can see that it's stuck here. So let's first style this to 100%. It's by default 100%. I've just given space evenly, so you can see that it got the extreme right. Okay, we got the space in between. So that's up to you, and we can also give it a padding from inside 10 pixel, 10 pixel. Okay, now it's fine. And one more thing, border. We can give it a border bottom of black color, but instead of black, I'll choose some light gray. Okay, some light gray. And we can also give it a border of dotted. Okay, dotted or a dashed will be better. So dashed. Okay, so we got a dash border. Now you can see that it's looking fine. After this, I want my items to be in center. So for that, I can simply write align items center. Okay, so now we can target the label. So I'm just targeting the label with this. Okay, so it actually got a font size, margin right, and font weight is some bold. All right, and same for the h2 for items. So the h2 is our item, and I'm brought that to center, and then padding of 10 pixel from each side. Okay, so after this we have to target the all items. Okay, we have to target the all items. And what is all items? All items is this container. All items is this container. You can see that this container, so we can target this all items container. And actually I wanted some margin from bottom. Okay, so I have given some margin from bottom, so now it's looking fine. And now I guess we can continue. All right, so yeah, the basic structure has been created. And let me just check if I have given proper id names. Or first, let's the JavaScript part. Let's write the JavaScript part, then we can continue. So in the JavaScript, we can simply write script tag here, and we are going to target a few things. So number one is what? Let's write the IDs first. So number one ID is customer name input. Number two is people input. Okay. And then what? Custom tip input number three. Okay. And then we have given IDs to these also. So we have to give these IDs. So I'll just write ID equals item name input. Item name input. Okay. Yeah. And similarly, we'll give it an ID of item quantity input. Uh, okay. I'll simply write QTY. Okay, so that's short. And then I want one more thing, that it's for the price. Okay, so for price, I'll simply write item price input. So I given three IDs to these also, these inputs. Every input will have a unique ID. That's it. All right. And now let's check for this one. Every representation value will have a ID. So name well, people well. Okay, that's it. That's for the bill. And after this, yeah, after this we want the bill amt0. Okay, tip well. Okay, id is tip well, and then total amount. Okay, these were the required IDs. And now we can jump to the JavaScript. So first I'll write let custom customer name input, and I'm going to target my first input value, that is this one. Okay, so right now I'm not able to see. Why am I not able to see? Because body has body has I guess that's because of this justify content. Now it's looking fine. Okay, so after this I am first targeting this Harshal Jain. Okay, that means the customer name, and then people, and then selective, that is percentage. So what we can do, we can simply write. Similarly, we are going to target the people input. Okay, people input, that is the second container, second ID. And then we can simply target the third one, that is our custom tip input. All right, so that's been targeted. That means this input container has been targeted, not these p tags. Okay, just this input container has been targeted. Then we can target the name and quantity and price of the item. All right, so now I guess we can continue. And we have targeted the custom tip input. Then we can target what? We can target item name input, and we can target the item QTY input. Okay, so we have actually targeted all the input containers. You can see that we had targeted all the input containers. This was the item name input and item QTY input. And we also want the price input. So for price input, yeah, we have item price input. Let's target that also. And then we can target the bill AMT and total AMT and total AMT. Yeah, that is these IDs. Okay, total empty and bill AMT. And you might be wondering, I haven't targeted these. They will be targeted later on. And yeah, that's what the basic requirements. Now after this, if I change my name, okay, let me just zoom this. If I just write anything, Harshal Jain, and I write anything else, you can see that nothing changes here. Okay, suppose I initialize it with dash, so that will be better. So in this part you can simply write a dash, because initially there will be no name, and again number of people, dash, and later on 000. Yeah, that's it. So initially what you will see, you'll simply see this dash dash, and these are actually added by me, so I'll just remove that later on. Yeah, so after this, if someone changes, if someone writes Harshal, okay, so I want Harshal here, I want Harshal here, so I'll create a function that will do this for me. So for that I can simply write const, I'll just name this function as change name, and what I want my name to be shown in the name well. Okay, this is the name well. So for that, let's call the function in this whenever there is a change in the input. Where is the input? Here is the input. Okay, so I'll call this function on change equals change name. Okay, change name. So this was our function, and now let's write here. Okay, change name. And whenever there is a change, whenever I have written something, that function will be called, this function will be called. So after this, we want to get this, we want to get this value and store it in this. Okay, so for that we can simply write, you have to target name well, what is name well? Name well is this one. Currently you can see that it's a dash, so it will return a dash. Its inner HTML is a dash. All right, so we have to change its inner HTML. So if the custom customer name input, now what is customer name input? This is first input container. Okay, this first input container. So I'll check if its value is blank. If its value is blank, then name val dot inner HTML equals dash. Okay, now after this, if it's not blank, suppose I have written Harshal, so I must change the value to Harshal. Inner name dot inner HTML equals Harshal. So name val dot inner HTML equals Harshal. So how will Harshal come? The value of the input container, its input container will be Harshal. So let's try this one. So if I save this and let's try. So suppose if I have written Harshal Jain, so you can see we got Harshal Jain here. How did this happen? It happened because you can see that I have taken the name value that was dash, here it was dash previously, and then I have checked that if I have written nothing, then replace that with dash. Okay, replace that with dash. And if I have written something, then write that value. Okay, so I have written Harshal Jain, so Harshal Jain will be written by this one, and it will be replaced with the inner HTML. Okay, so the dash will be replaced with Harshal Jain. So that will be our change name function. And similarly, we will do the same for another ones also. So I'll just call my functions here. This was my first function, and similarly, I'm going to create the second function as change name, change people. Okay, change people, change people, change people. And also we'll create another function here. And what I can do is I can call a function named as change tip here. I'll call a function named as add item here first. So it will be used as add item. So simply if you click on add item will be called. So let's first write the basic part here only. So after this, we have written change people. Okay, change people. So we'll do the same for change people. Change people will do nothing. I am going to target the same change POPLE, and then people well. Okay, so I can simply write POPLE, and I'm going to target the people val POPLE. That means this one. Okay, this one will be targeted. So this one will be targeted, and I'm going to check the input container of number of people is, if it's blank, then return dash. So I can simply write Peopleval. Okay, and instead, if it's not, then we can simply write Peopleval inner.html. Okay, so yeah, we do have to change this one also, people input. So people input, again people input. So let's understand this one. So what I've done is, if someone adds 10 to this one, so you can see that we got 10. What happened here is, this is the value of this input container. Okay, people input, people input. Okay, people input dot value is now 10. Okay, so if it's 10, you can see that 10 is actually transferred to the inner HTML of this one. Transferred to the inner HTML, people will have 10. Okay, people val will have 10. So that's it for this function. And similarly, now we'll do the same for this tip. Okay, so for this tip, first, if I click on this, I want 1 year. If I click on this, I want 5 year. If I click on this, I want 10 here. If I click on this 15, I want 15 here. First, I want this much. All right. So for that, we have created no function here. So for creating a function, I'll just call a function here on every click. Okay. So I'll just create a function named as on click. Okay, whenever you click this p tag, I want my tip. I'm creating a function name here. So tip percent to input. Tip percent to input. I've just created a random name here, and this function will be created in the JavaScript. I've just written random name here. So I'll pass one. Okay, I'll pass one. Similarly, for the 5 percentage, I will pass 5. I will pass 5. So 5. Similarly, for the 10 percentage, I will pass 10. Similarly, for the 15 percentage, I will pass 15. Okay, so yeah, this function will be called whenever I press this, whenever I press this, whenever I press this, whenever I press this. So I press this, the function will have value 15. If I press this, sub function will have parameter 10. If I press this, function will have parameter 5. This parameter 1. Okay, so now let's create this function. So I'll just copy this and I'll write const, and yeah, this function will definitely have some value. Okay, so if I press on 1%, it will have 1. So after this, I want to simply change this its value. Okay, this inputs value. How can we change that? We have targeted this one here, custom tip input. I will change its value. So for that, we can simply write custom tip input dot value equals, suppose I'll change this parameter to uh, tip val. Okay, and I've just written tip val, TIPVAL. Okay, let's save. And if I just choose 5, you can see that we got 5. If I click 10, we got 10 here. If I click 15, we got 15 here. That's happening because this function is called and value has been sent. So if I click on 15, 15 will be replaced with 10, tip well, and tip well will take the value inside this one. Okay, so custom tip input was previously suppose 5, now it will become 15, 10, whatever you have clicked. Okay, so now this function is working properly, but I want the same change to be here, present here only, here also. Okay, so for that we'll do one thing first. So suppose if I make changes, suppose I print write 10 here. So I want 10 here. Okay, I want 10 here. So for that, I'll just create a function and I'll just copy this again, or I can simply write const change tip. Okay, so let's create this function, and I can simply do the same logic. Okay, so I'll just copy this, and then we can simply target this tip well. Okay, tip well in the bill, tip well, and I can write TIPVAL. Okay, so what will this do? It will target this, it will target this tip percentage, whatever it is. Okay, so it will target this ID, tip well. So I have targeted this ID, and I want to replace its inner HTML with custom tip input value. All right, so again, I'll apply the same logic. Apply the same logic, or we can change this to tip. I'll apply the same logic. If it's blank, if the input container is blank, then pass a dash or a 0. Okay, better is to write 0 here, or instead you can pass the whatever percentage has written. Okay, so let's check this. So if I make any changes to this, if I make any changes to this input container, then what will be called on change, and the name is change tip. Okay, I guess this was the name of our function. Let's save and let's check. So if I have written 12 here, if I hit okay, nothing will happen because I guess the name is wrong here. So the name is okay, so let's make it small t, and now let's save. If I write 12 here, you can see that we now got 12. But if I if I click on 15, if I click on 5, then we are not getting 5 here. Why? Because we haven't called the change tip function. So for that, I'll just simply call the change tip function. Okay, that's it. So if I click on 5, you can see that we got the 5%. If I click on 15, we got the 50% here and here also. So if I make it 18, and you can see that we got 18%. So that's it. So just make sure you have to press enter. Also you have to change this. Okay, just make sure if you have written 19 and if you change this input, then definitely 19 will come up here. But if you don't want to shift your input, and if you press enter, then definitely it will work. Okay, so it will work for both cases. So if I make it 2 and if I jump to next input, you can see that we got 2 here. Okay, so after this, one thing is only remaining that is the add item. So for that, let's check this. So for add item, I'll just simply create an array. So I'll write const item arr. Okay, item, let's write complete item array. So initially there will be no item selected, so let me just remove this. I'll just remove this I'll just remove this. Okay, initially no items will be selected, but as I write things here and as I add items here, I want my items to be shown here. Okay, I want my items to be shown here. So for that, we can do one thing. I have created an item array. Now you can see that I have passed a function here, add item. So I want this function to be used. Okay, so whenever there is some I'll add an item name, I'll add an item quantity, then I'll call this function. Okay, and I'll add also item price, then I'll call this function on pressing this add button. Okay, now on pressing this add button, I'll simply add that item to this item array, and I'll show that item array here in the bill. Okay, that's what my goal is. So yeah, just come here and I'll simply add items. So for that, I'll create a function here named as add item. I have passed that function above. So add item, and now we can simply get the item name. How can we get the item name? Whatever the name is written inside this, we will get that. Okay, so item name is this input value. Okay, so we can simply write let item name equals item name input dot value. Okay, so whatever is written inside this, we will get with this variable. So again, we want the item quantity, we want the item price. Okay, all these three values have been targeted. After this, we'll say that if one of them is blank and someone has pressed add item, then definitely we'll show an error. So if I click on add, you can see that we are having please fill all the fields, because and any of them can be empty. Okay, so if item name is empty or item quantity is empty or item price is empty, then we'll get a pop-up please fill all the fields. Okay, if one of them is at least empty, else we'll push that item to our array. So we can simply write else, and we can simply write else let item equals, and we'll give it a name of what, item name. Okay, and quantity will be what, item quantity, and price will be what, item price. So I'm simply creating an object. This is an object and it will be updated to this array. So for updating that to an array, I'll just write push. Okay, so it will be actually appended to the previous items. Initially it was blank, but suppose there were four items pre-existing in this array, so fifth will be this item. Okay, So there will be now 5 items. If there were 4, now there will be 5 items because of this push. Okay, I'm not removing those old items, I'm adding new items to this. Okay, that's how push is used. And after that, I'll just remove these values. Okay, I'll make them blank. All right, so after this, let's check this. So if I write something here, okay, if I write something here and if I click add, you can see that now they got blank because this is running properly, and item array will have that value which I pass. So let's check this. So simply I'll just print it. Okay, so I'll print console.log item array. Okay, now let's check and let's inspect this first in the console. Okay, so if I write a random name here, quantity can be 12, 123. So you can see that we got an array. We got an array which will have these three values. Suppose if I write anything else, if I write quantity as 5, price as 90. So if I click add, so now you can see we got two items. One is the old one, and this is the second one which we added right now. Okay, so the items are being added. Now we are going to show these items. We are going to show these items. So for that, we are going to create an array. We are actually going to create a function, and that function will be called whenever we add an item. Okay, so I'll write const show item array in bin. Okay, I'm just creating this function. Now inside this function, I will change what? I'll show the items here. Okay, suppose there were 5 items in item array, I'll show 5 items here. Okay, in the bill. Okay, so for that we can simply write uh, again, if I can just split the screen. Now first let's call that function here, show item array in bill. Okay, don't forget to call this function here. Now what do we need to do? We'll simply target the all items. Okay, all items container. What is all items container? Which actually contains our items. Okay, you can see that I have created a all items container with id all items, and it will contain all our items. Okay, I'll just comment this out. You can see that we got our item. Similarly, we have to show the item array. Okay, so for showing the item array, I'll replace the inner html with that. Okay, so I'll just write for we have to create a for loop because we have to target all the items present inside the item array. Okay, so suppose the items are 2, the length of this array will be 2, so it will run from 0 and 1. All right, so I'll simply write item array dot length. Okay, and then we can simply increment this. So this for loop will run from what? Less than 1 item array. So suppose there were 2 items in item array, the length will be 2 and it will run from 0 and 1. Okay, so it will run 2 times. So after this, let's write let item equals the index, particular index of item array. Okay, particular index of item array, and we have to pass that. Okay, we have to pass the inner that to inner html. So I'll simply let item div equals create element division. We are going to create an element like this. Okay, we are going to create an element like this. All right, this division will be created. Okay, after this I will add a class list s1 because that division has a class s1. You can see that we have a class s1 in this division. I'll just remove this one. Okay, you can see that empty division is created and class will have s1. Okay, so after this s1 is created, then we'll simply pass that item to inner html of that item. Okay, so we can simply write item dot div dot inner html item div. Okay, I'm sorry, I have to write item div dot inner html equals and just write backticks. Now in first vtech. Okay, what instead of that we can simply copy this. Okay, we can simply, okay, I have removed that, let it be. So for that we can simply create a backtick tag here. Inside this, first is our what? First is our item name, and then second is what? Item quantity, then third is what? Item price. Okay, so actually I have written quantity above, so I'll just cut this and I'll paste it here. Okay, so yeah, that's how this function will work. And now let's test this function. So this function will call whenever I press add. So let's check. So if I write this item as, suppose I have written named as this, quantity as 12, and price as 300. Okay, if I click on add, nothing happened. Why nothing happened? Because let's test what happened here. Show item array. Okay, I have pushed that item and then this function is called get element by id all items, all items. So if I click reload and let's test that again. So if I make 12 item processor, okay, nothing is happening. Why nothing is happening? Let's check what's the issue. We have added the item show item array in bill. All right, all right. Okay, we also have to add one more thing. I forgot to append this item division. So we can simply append this to all items dot append child, and we are going to append that item division. Okay, so new item will be added. So in previous item, new item will be added in the bill. Okay, in the bill. So let's check now. So if I add item name as suppose this item quantity can be 2, item price can be 1 2 3. Okay, if I click on it, you can see that we got that. So if I again click write an item as this, quantity can be 5, price can be 20. Okay, so I click on it, you can see that we got this. But we need to do one more thing. We need to do one more thing. What can we actually do is first let's clear the inner HTML. Okay, for clearing the inner HTML, we have to clear the inner HTML. Then we can add all the items again. Okay, now it will work fine. Previously the items were repeating. So if I add an item and let's add again, if I click the name and item quantity can be 12, item price can be something like this. If I click on add, you can see that the items are added properly and now the code is working properly. Now finally we have to actually calculate the total. Okay, we actually calculate the total. So you can see that we have everything. We have to calculate the total bill amount and then we'll add the percentage and we'll get the total amount. So for that we'll create a function. I'll simply name it as const calculate total. And how total will be calculated, let's see. So first total will be 0, total will be 0 equals 0. And then we'll create a for loop for let I equals 0, I less than item array and item array length, comma I plus plus. We need to add all the items to the total, that's why. So I'll just target my item with this item equals item array index. Okay, whatever item it is. And in total, what do we need to add? We need to add the quantity into price. Okay, so total plus equals the old total will be updated. So item dot qty quantity into item dot price. So now total will be updated. So if I just want my total in bill amount, okay, without adding the tip percentage, I'll show that in the bill amount. So let's show the total in bill amount and we can simply write bill amt, and you can also add this rupee symbol or any symbol if you like. So bill amt dot inner html. What is bill amt? You can see that we have targeted bill amt here and it is targeted from this id. Where is this id? This id is here. Okay, so this will be updated. So let's call this function. When we can call this function, I'll just call this function every time I make a change. Okay, I'll just call this function every time I make a change, so this will be real time. So let's start with the name. Okay, let's start with the name, and I have called this function. Similarly, copy this one and paste it here, paste it here. Again we can call this function. Suppose we'll call this function here. Okay, because this will be called for this also. So we'll simply call the function named as calculate total. And also if we add an item, then also we will call this function, or we can call that here only. All right, so we'll call that here, and let's check now. Let's check. So if I add an item, and item quantity is suppose 12, and The item name can be something like this. Item price is uh, suppose item price is 100 each. Okay, if I click on add, you can see that the bill amount is 1200. Okay, that is 1200. That means 100 into 12, that is 1200. So if I add another item and its quantity is suppose 2 and item price is 10, so 20 will be added. You can see that 1220. All right, so now we need to add the tip to it. So if the tip is 10%, then we'll add the tip to it. So 10% of this is 122 and 122 will be added to this to the total. Okay, so for that what can we do? We can simply add let tip. Okay, let tip value equals, or we can simply write the total. So I can simply write total amount, total amount, that is this division, that is this division, total amount divisions. Okay, it will actually target this total amount id, that is this one. Okay, so we'll actually show the total here. How can we show the total here? We'll simply multiply the total by its percentage. Okay, so for that we can simply write add the total with the percentage. Okay, so first there will be a total. Okay, then we'll add percentage of that total to it. Okay, so percentage, for calculating the percentage we'll simply write total into, that's basic mathematics by the way, custom tip input value into 100. Okay, custom tip input value, what will be this value? Anything. If I clicked on this, custom tip input value will be 5%. All right, so I guess this is targeted where? This is targeted here. This is targeted here. All right, so now let's test. So if I give a custom tip of 5% and item name can be, suppose I have given an item name and item quantity will be 1 and item price can be suppose 10 rupees. Okay, so if I click on add, you can see that we got 10 and bill amount is 10 and 5%. Okay, it's not working. It's not working. Why it's not working? Okay, total amount dot inner HTML. I have to add this to inner HTML. So now let's see if I've added 5% and then item name, item quantity can be 2, item price can be 20, 10. Okay, so now you can see that 5% of 20 is what? Is 1. So 1 is added to 20, that is 21. Okay, so suppose if I add another item, and the item quantity is 10. Okay, it's 10. Item price is suppose 10 each. Okay, 100 each, suppose 100 each. And now you can see that we got the bill and we got the total amount with that percentage. All right, so I hope you like this one. And by the way, we can also add the names also like this. Number of people can be 10 and suppose I want the same to be 10%. So you can see we got the real time changes. Okay, so that's how you can actually create a simple tip calculator. And I tried to apply the complex approach because I'm also coder. Can you help me in coding? Definitely, brother, I can help you in coding. And if you want to contact me, you can comment below or you can contact me on Instagram. That is this Instagram user handle. Okay, this is my Instagram user handle, Harshal underscore 3011. You can contact me here. So I hope you enjoyed this video and this tip calculator has been completed. You can see that we got the bill here. So I'll just upload this source code on GitHub first. So this is my GitHub repository, by the way. So how you can visit the code? You can simply visit the code by first visiting my profile. My profile is nothing. My profile is viraj014. Okay, so this is my profile. You just have to type github.com/virajj014. Just visit this URL. Okay, just visit this URL and you'll get my profile. Don't forget to follow me here. So first let's upload a new repository. I'll just name it as js underscore what's the name of this project? Tip. Okay, TIPCALCULATOR. Okay, tip calculator, and I'll create this repository. Then let's add the source code. Just a minute, guys. Huh? I'll just add the source code. git init, git add dot. Guys, by the way, I was actually not feeling well today, so yeah, you can see that I'm not sounding to the point today, but it's okay. We completed the project, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me anytime on comment on live chat or on any other video or Instagram. Okay, that's up to you. You can approach me anywhere. So yeah, this I have added the git branch as main, and then we can add the repository name, add the repository name. And also this won't work, this GitHub upload won't work for you guys because some of you might not have added the SSH. So if you are trying and it's not happening, install GitHub properly, GitHub CLI to your computer, and also add the laptop SSH to your GitHub profile. So that's a long procedure, I won't tell that, but yeah, GitHub must be added first. So yeah, you can say that the source code is uploaded, and if I just refresh, source code is uploaded. You can see that we got the inner HTML here. You can use this source code. I'll just show you how can you get this source code. Okay, so in my profile, this is my profile, github.com/viraj014. I've shared that on the live chat. Just visit my profile. In repositories, you can see that JS underscore tip calculator is available. If you don't find this, you can search that here, JS underscore TIP. Okay, so you will find the source code here. Just click and you'll get the source code. Okay, so also you can create much more calculators like this, different calculators if you want. And before ending this video, I wanted to show you this one. So in the description, you'll have a link named as full stack bootcamp course. So basically you'll click that link and it will take you to this page. Okay, it will take you to this page. Just visit this link, visit this course, just enroll for this one, start for this one. And then in the live section, you can see that on the 21st and 22nd we have upcoming sessions, so don't forget to watch that, and the links will be shared here. Okay, joining links will be available here. And if you somehow aren't able to watch these sessions, you can check out the recordings also. All right, so this is a free course, anyone can enroll for this one. All right, so yeah, by the way, this session will be taken by me, so you can watch that. And before ending this video, I wanted to show you the code finally. Okay, this is my project, and let's test it again. Okay, so if I refresh this, and if I add customer name, is suppose I add customer name as Viraj Jain. Okay, and number of people can be suppose 10, and I'll add custom tip. Okay, I'll add custom tip of 9%. Then I'll add an item name of shoes. Okay, I want two quantity. Okay, that means two pairs. And then item price can be suppose 100 each, 100 each. I'll add this. You can see that it's added. Again, if I add something like, what can I add? Jacket. Okay, jacket. Item quantity can be one. Item price can be 5,000. If I add this, you can see that we are getting the total. Okay, so you can see that the code is working properly, and you can use this step calculator in any restaurant or anything by your own modification. But yeah, I guess this will work for any restaurant. Simple tip calculator. Okay, so if you want to use this in your own business, you can use this logic. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I have shared the source code to you guys. If you want to contact me, if you want to share something, if you want to get career guidance, if you want a freelancer, so you can definitely comment below. Okay, or you can contact me on Instagram at the rate Harshal underscore 3011 or LinkedIn Harshal Jain. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's video, and some people are saying a few things. ME coding, I am also a coder, can you help me in coding? Contact me, bro. And Prakar Singh, it was a great session to attend, thanks for the session. Welcome, bro, thanks for watching, and we we'll definitely bring more sessions like this. And if you have any doubts, you can contact me and comment and in live chat or on Instagram. All right, so let's end this video. See you in the next one. Till then, bye.